Today is Friday, July 1st, 2022, and we have some new updates on politics in the United Kingdom. Chris Pincher, who was a whip for the Conservative Party, the deputy chief whip for the Conservative Party in the House of Commons, has now been suspended as a Tory member of Parliament. He is still, at the moment, a member of Parliament, but no longer with the Conservative Party, instead appearing to serve as an independent, and he's also lost his position as deputy chief whip. This comes after allegations that on Wednesday, June 29th, 2022, Mr. Pincher groped two men at the Carlton Club, which is a club basically associated with the Conservative Party in London. And this sort of just adding to a slew of scandals and misconduct allegations that the Conservative Party is battling seemingly incessantly, and really does not bode well for how the party is viewed in the public, and any upcoming elections, whether they be by-elections, potentially a by-election that comes after Pincher's potential resignation, but also in the next general election or any other significant elections that Boris Johnson's Conservative Party has to face in the time between now and the next general election. You can see here that he was, as I said before, the government deputy chief whip. He lost that position, and you've seen some criticism of Boris Johnson as well for having selected Pincher as his deputy chief whip in the House of Commons. On November 5th, 2017, Pincher had received accusations of misconduct and complaint against him in the police department from another conservative politician named Tory, who alleged that he was essentially he had this incident, if you will, where Pincher invited him to his apartment and was massaging his neck and essentially talking about his future in the party, and essentially seeming to suggest that if he wanted to get far in the Conservative Party, to have relations with Mr. Pincher. And the Conservative Party did an internal investigation. They determined there was no a breach of the code of conduct. And then we find ourselves here where we are today now, with Pincher resigning as the parliamentary whip on the 30th of June 2022, and you're seeing some criticism about the fact that Boris Johnson chose Pincher to be this deputy whip in spite of the Tory allegations and his complaint against Pincher with the police. And Labour, as you can tell, really jumping at this and saying it's just the latest episode in the terrible standards for politicians that are in Boris Johnson's Conservative Party, and how they are just absolutely continuing to have these repeated scandals and allegations. I mean, you look at Neil Parish. Neil Parish resigned on May 4th, 2022, because it was found that he was watching pornography in the House of Commons during a debate, which really is really bad. And not fitting of someone that is serving their constituency, instead of paying attention to the debate, watching pornography. Really, really bad. And Imran Ahmad Khan as well, another conservative politician, he being convicted of child sexual assault and resigning on May 3rd, 2022. So you have Imran Khan, Neil Parish, that was just 2 months ago in May, both resigning because of those scandals, and now we have Chris Pincher here facing what is I'd surmise as significant pressure to resign as well. And there were calls, it says, from Conservative members of Parliament that Pincher should resign, and that a by-election should be held. Even going so far as to say that this is worse than what happened with Neil Parish. Neil Parish was just caught watching pornography in the House of Commons. And here we have credible allegations of sexual misconduct against Pincher, who got very drunk at the Carlton Club and started groping some men. You have the Labour Shadow Home Secretary calling for an investigation or for more truth into the matter. But nonetheless, I really think that there's going to be some very significant pressure here on Pincher to just resign as a member of Parliament, because the argument that's going to be made is that, one, the conduct is not befitting of a member of Parliament, a politician that represents their constituency, but also, two, it just it's a terrible look again for the Conservative Party, and it's just the party has to do something. And if they can't, just do nothing. If they want to try and show that this is not what they are and this is not what they represent. So we'll have to continue to monitor for updates. Earlier this morning, Pinchner resigning as the deputy chief whip, or being removed from that position, one of the two, and then now no longer part of the political party, the Conservative Party. That is the update on the evening of Friday, July 1st, 2022. We'll have to see if Pinchner resigns. But nonetheless, it's a real flurry of scandals for the premiership of Boris Johnson, and the Conservative Party just continues to struggle with scandal after scandal after scandal. Thank you.